Hello, everyone. This is round two for me. This my opportunity to introduce, I think, one of the best sheriffs had, and I hope he does well come fall. That's my campaign speech for today. Uh, I'd like to introduce Rob Milby. If you could come forward, please.
Good afternoon. Everybody hear me okay? So, great pleasure. My wife and I are honored to be here today to help celebrate Wayne County's 200th. But in the spirit of Gene Babbitt, this isn't coming without a history lesson. So how does the Sheriff's Office figure into the 200th anniversary of Wayne County? Well, back in 1823, when Wayne County became a zone, the center of law and order in our justice system was in Canandaigua. And if you know anything about the roads back then, Steve, what were the roads like back then? Very difficult to get from here to Canandaigua. So they decided that they needed their own jail, their own courthouse. So right across the road on Church Street, across the road from our current old county courthouse, they built a new court and a jail. Upstairs was the courthouse, downstairs was the jail. They built that for a very meager $5,000. A few years went by, they realized it wasn't big enough, and it started to deteriorate. 36 years after its original built, they built another one up on Butternut Street, and that's currently a museum. But when they built that, they decided to do things a little different. They separated the courthouse from it. Instead, they built living quarters for the sheriff. So the sheriff lived there in the front portion of Butternut Street. And the reason they did that was so that they would be a good example for the inmates that were there to see how to become contributing members of society. That was the example. The sheriff's wife helped take care of the inmates. Now, Mr. Egner, my wife read that. If you know anything about Rebecca, she's got some talent in the kitchen. She wrote you a letter. Please don't bring that system back. You will have crime run rampant in Wayne County. There'll be a line at the door. The deputies and the inmates will all be packed. They'll be huge. So after a while, in the later 1800s, things started to deteriorate at Butternut Street. Wayne County started to grow. The population began to double. So they recognized a need for a larger jail, and that's where you see the jail that we have now on Route 31 in Lyons. It started out with 29 beds. We now currently hold up to 109. Back in 1955, the sheriff had 5 deputies. Now, we have over 150 employees. So just a quick history lesson as to how the sheriff's office ties in. And I want to thank the committee for allowing us and inviting us the opportunity to become involved in this entire year of celebration for Wayne County. Once we heard about it, if you noticed out front, the first thing that we did was we marked up one of our police vehicles in honor of our 200th. The other thing that we did was we commissioned a badge, which I'm wearing right now, in honor of our 200th. All the deputies, corrections officers, court security officers, all have worn these all year. And we also have a commemorative coin that the membership of the sheriff's office possesses, and some VIPs have been gifted. And I see some of the looks I'm getting, it was all non-tax dollars. Today, we're here to honor and recognize all of you for the work that you did throughout Wayne County during our 200th anniversary. And Jean, Rosa, and Deb are very good about honoring everybody and giving them the recognition. But can I have the three of them come up here, please? So to the three of you, I thank you for your leadership and obviously your coordination skills, because you pulled off quite a large feat this year, and you still are. You brought us all together. Take a look what's happening today. So before I present this to them, could we give them all a round of applause? So at the sheriff's office, we wanted to make sure that they've got something that they could recognize and bring back with them to the museum. So to our co-chairs of the Bicentennial Committee and to the Wayne County Historical Society, gifted to the citizens of Wayne County and the Wayne County Historical Society. Proudly displayed on every member of the Sheriff's Office for the year 2023. Thank you.
Wow. I will hold on to this. I am Deb Hall, if you don't know already, and I am the latest Executive Director of the Wayne County Historical Society and Museum of Wayne County History. I am standing on the back of giants. I came into this bit very late in the game. I was telling some folks earlier, end of 22, maybe beginning of 23, having seen so much work that was already done, I couldn't believe the amount of people that have been involved. And this is just a snapshot, really. You know, there are folks that are missing here today. One of them is the former director of the Wayne County Historical Society. I didn't know her personally, but all of you probably knew Larry Ann, and she really deserves this. So give her a round of applause, even though she's not here today. She was one of the early co-chairs of this committee. And if I could just take a second, you've been watching some videos during the preview of this program and during your lunch, and those videos were produced of the torch relay and of Family Fun Day, just two of the events that we did this year. I'd like to recognize all the folks that were involved in the torch relay. If you guys could just stand up really quick. Torch Relay Committee, 200 miles of history around Wayne County. I know they're going to get to recognition later. But that was an amazing event to put together. And the Sheriff's Office, Sheriff, you're going to get a commemorative medal and one of our 200 signature cards, because the Sheriff's Office followed us around the entire county. It was amazing. I also want to recognize Matt Beck, who's doing some videography here today. Him and Lexi McGee, who is a resident of Wayne County and a high school graduate of Clyde Savannah and now a college student at Cayuga Community College. They did the videography for the torch relay video, and they did a great job. It was more chasing than it was waiting, because apparently you all run faster than 15 minutes a mile. So there was lots of times where the videographers were chasing the runners, trying to catch up. And I also want to thank those of you who were gathering points at the historic sites and the towns, the historians. Everyone just worked together. It was absolutely amazing. The other video is the Family Fun Day video. Again, an amazing feat of everyone coming together. Lexi McGee did all the video for that and then edited that. And these videos will be available online. We'll put them up on a YouTube page and then put them on Wayne County 200. But while I have the mic and all of your attention, and before Jean and Rosa start, Jean and Rosa, you guys, you're going to get lots of applause, and everybody knows how amazing they are. But I just want to do a little toast. But before we toast, we have to do a little roast. It'll be very small. It'll be very quick. If you haven't known this already, both Jean and Rosa are avid Facebookers. You know this, right? But the difference between the two is that if you aren't sure where Jean is on a particular day of the week or month for the past 3 years, you just go to his Facebook page, because he might not be in Wayne County. He might not even be in New York State. And so during much of this planning time, we followed Gene's travels, and we had a lot of meetings with him while he wasn't in the state. Meanwhile, Rosa was posting things about everything that had to do with Wayne County and every bit of history and every detail on Facebook.
I'm not Rosa Fox on Facebook, I'm Wayne.
I know. She's Wayne County Bicentennial on Facebook. But there is one difference. The other difference is that, well, there had to be cake at every celebration. Cake at the celebrations. We know who ordered the cake. There is right brain and there is left brain. Rose is the creative brain, which is the right brain. Jean is the analytical, which is the left brain. And when you bring the two together, somebody said earlier, you know, you bring that thing together and the two chemicals kind of create a little bit of heat. There might be a little friction, but then there's this epoxy kind of molding together. They have become one in our minds, okay? So it's almost as if Jean, Rosa, Rosa, Jean, the twins. They're like Siamese twins. I'm not sure where they're connected. Jean is full of endless ideas. If it had been his way, the Bicentennial would never end, and there would have been a party every day. Every day, right? And Rosa is full of endless edits and fonts. That's right, fonts, F-O-N-T-S. Fonts. Fonts matter. Fonts matter when you're printing. Fonts matter when you're posting things. So we have a gift for both of you. I'll tell you what they are, unless you want to open them in front of everyone. Yay! Both of them are also writers and obviously historians, and so they each get a matching gift, because when you're twins, you always get matching gifts. And this is so that they can document their own little history. They're sort of eternal-looking journals, historic-looking journals. But the little insignia on the front says, where there's a will, there's a way. And that has definitely been the theme for these two, who have, again, come up with endless ideas. You can draw in them, you can right brain or left brain in them.
Oh, I love this, love it.
Jean also got a travel kit with travel-size accoutrements.
Vintage graphic design.
A book of fonts.
I like it.
All right, I don't want to go without mentioning the fourth person in our entourage here is Miss Christine Worth. Please, you all know her. She deserves a standing ovation for, I don't know, endless years of all of this work and promotion around the county.
The tourism office will take full credit for twins, because we saw a lot of them, and it was just easier to say the twins are coming today. But again, I'm thankful because of the opportunity to work so close with both of you. And I can't say 1 year, I can say 2 years, and I can say 3 years. So thank you for all of the hard work, and I look forward to what we do in the future.
Some of you know that I served as co-chair of the Bicentennial 50 years ago when I was a mere lad. My wife is sitting there saying, I can't do the next one. All right, we are coming up on almost 5 years since this started. We're very fortunate in Wayne County to have a group called WHO, Wayne Historians Organization. We've been meeting together 6 times a year for many years. And so we all kind of know each other. It's municipal historians and representatives of historical societies. So in the October of 2018, I think I mentioned to someone, you know, Bicentennial is coming up in 2023, we ought to start talking about it. So we said, okay, let's have a meeting next month. So we called a meeting for November 14th, 2018. What you see there on the screen before you are some of the notes that Peter Evans took. Peter Evans, our county historian at the time, who, as you all probably know, passed away just a month prior to our Founders Day celebration. The other person, well, that was November. I believe this picture of Larry Ann Evans and I was taken about January or February of 2019, when Mike Jankowski and I met with her to try to figure out how we were going to get the county to back this idea. And at that point, Larry Ann agreed to co-chair with me. Mike took that to the Board of Supervisors, and in April of 2019, Larry Ann and I were appointed co-chairs and said, go find a committee and plan a celebration. And so we started up. Sadly, we lost Larry Ann in December of 2020, and thankfully, the Board of Supervisors had the good wisdom to appoint this lovely lady to assist in that job. Board of Supervisors, without you guys and gals, this would not have been possible. The Wayne County Board of Supervisors provided us with some funding to get started, to create banners and signs and publications, and we are very appreciative of that. We realized right off there are some things we can't do with public money, like put on a spread like this. We can't spend taxpayer dollars for things like this. So we have to do a different entity. The logical, because Larry Ann was director of the Wayne County Museum, she said, we'll do it. Wayne County Historical Society will help be a partner in this, and 501c3s can raise money. We can sell things. We can, take in donations and so forth. And so we partnered with the Wayne County Historical Society, and we'll get to the sponsorship thing in a little while, but a lot of money came in to help support this. But Rosa and I were regularly emailing all of the municipal historians, once a week, twice a week, for the past 4 years, and asking them for something. And they came forward, and likewise, the Wayne County Historical Societies, the various historical societies, were very helpful to us in digging through their files of pictures and documents and whatever they had and sharing it with us. About the same time that we started talking about the Bicentennial in 2018, Jim Paprocki took a spreadsheet that I had of historic sites and created a database.
As we got going with the committee and coming up with ideas and the plan for this bicentennial, Jean came up with the idea that we needed to have a dog and pony show. We started working through Zoom in the very beginning. We put together a dog and pony show that once we got going, we could actually take out on the road. And many of you in this room have seen the dog and pony show. Some of you have now. This is a little whacked out version of the dog and pony show. Kyle Medoff, who's here doing photography today, has been instrumental in helping us with the graphic design of some of our graph cards and brochures. was also instrumental in coming up with the approach that we wanted to take was to have people explore, discover, visit, and celebrate Wayne County. So thank you, Kyle, for those 4 words, because that was our guiding point all along. And then one day in a Bicentennial Committee meeting, we had this crazy idea that we needed to have a slogan.
You did.
And so the slogan was agreed upon that Wayne County is indeed historic to the core. And Jane and I took the PowerPoint and the Dog and Pony Show out and around. We shared our promotional wrap cards. The first 15 cards made were of each town. And then we got the idea of doing topical cards. I think the first topical card was of cobblestone. Gene, do you want to tell them why?
Because Wayne County has 20% of all the cobblestone structures in the world. Not just New York State, not just the United States, the world.
So we went out about brochures and draft cards, and we thanked Amber Linson before I go on. Amber, where are you? We thank Amber for creating a beautiful but you'll see as we go along here. And then we got the idea that we needed to have a website and social media. And our website master, Deb, got right on it. We already had a website established through the county, but when Deb came on board, she got in there and tweaked it. You can find anything you want about Wayne County Bicentennial at WayneCounty200.com. Easy to do, and I think it'll be up there for a while if you want to read old newsletters, the Bicentennial Minutes if you want to watch those. Those are all at WayneCounty200.com, and we thank Deb very much for those efforts. And then social media became the thing, and we started the Facebook page, gradually added Instagram, and I'm really pleased to say, but disappointed at the same time, I wanted to say today that we have 5,000 followers on our Facebook page, but we're just shy of 25 people over at 5,000.
All of you, if you're not a follower, do it today.
It's a great page. We post every day. There's something recently, Neuromania has been sending me all kinds of stuff to post, and that gets up there as frequently as Mark sends it to me. So become a follower. Going back to 1973, when Gene was leading up the Bicentennial then, they had road signs. And you can see that road sign if you look below the 35 miles per hour sign. There's the road sign for the 1973. Kevin Rooney planned a bigger sign. Patty Colbecker was a gem in helping us get started on the newsletter. We sent Patty all the information, and she, with her newspaper wisdom, would compile it into a little newsletter to go out to everybody by email. And then this year, when we knew we had to spread wider, Christine Worth with tourism, Christine put together e-blast that went out to everybody, and we went high tech with that newsletter. So Patty and Christine, both of you, thank you so very much. Then we established local town committees. Most of these were formated from historical societies and whatnot. They went out to farmers markets and community events to spread the good word about the Bicentennial. This just happens to be the Butler Historical Society. The Butler folks in the booklet part. So we thank those Bicentennial town committees. All right. Phil and Dick were the creators of the Bicentennial book, which has been used for 3 seasons now. And people in communities for parades and whatnot have enjoyed seeing this. Dick is the master planner of this program. And then he tells Phil what to do, and Phil just goes ahead and does it. So, Phil, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Valerie, Dick, and I, State Sloan, and Linda Wilsey, we all work together on this boat and come up with some really good ideas. And we took from one site to another. Dick always followed me around. He became really attached to this one figure on the back of the boat. It was stronger. And of course, now we're not going to be able to take it anymore. The brakes are pretty much done now. And I saw some tears come in his eyes the last time he moved it. So, full appreciation for Dick, so he wouldn't forget it. I had a little t-shirt made for him. That was the highlight of his whole career.
For 3 years, I followed this strawberry all over Wayne County at 30 miles an hour. I go home at night, close my eyes, I still see the strawberry. Thank you.
Our bicentennial calendar was a big hit.
One of the first major projects.
But yes, it was one of the first major projects. And again, we thank Kyle for this because I don't think Kyle got the faces right the first time. But Kyle helped with the design, really with the layout and the cover and all that. People have loved this cover and they wanted a poster of it. And I think now maybe with this design, I think it's so
Got to have a post for this one.
yeah. But we thank Chris and Marie so much for this bicentennial calendar. It has been a godsend for me on the Facebook posts of late because I just go to the calendar and think, oh, that's cool. And so I'll look up a few things to go with it, with the post, and it helps so much. So thank you, Chris and Marie.
Another of our early projects came about because we wanted to have something for students. And so Karen Devlin headed up the committee. Sue Jane worked with her quite a bit, and others as well, to do a kind of aimed at fourth graders, because that's the age level where most kids would study local history. So it's a 60-page activity book. We found that everybody from younger kids to senior citizens really enjoyed it. Bruce Barrington said, you know, we ought to do some bicentennial minutes. Well, that's kind of a misnomer because each of our bicentennial minutes lasts 2 to 5 minutes. They are narrated slideshows, and all 52 of them, which began being released in April of 2022, 1 week, and also went into the newspapers, and also on the radio stations, are very well received. They cover a whole range of topics. Each one of them is still available on WayneCounty200.com. Click Bicentennial Minutes and you can watch any of them or all of them. We had a meeting at the Walworth Historical Society one day of what we call the Souvenir Committee. Carol Bailey looks up at a photo quilt of Walworth on the wall and says, we should do one of those for the bicentennial. Duh, yeah. So the guy who took the pictures for the Walworth quilt is Bob Mulgray sitting over there. Bob went out around Wayne County and took about 600 photographs, and we narrowed it down to 40. So we came up with these. The Reverse Curves Quote Club put it all together for us. It was premiered at the Colt Show in Williamson of the Reverse Curves Book Club in November of 2022. It's been traveling the county ever since. And we created a poster and a booklet to describe it. Now, that young lady again, Amber, came to us fairly early and said, we ought to do a book. Yeah, good idea. She was part of the Writers Guild. And so she headed up a project where we solicited stories from all around Wayne County, and she made sure that we got something from every town. And so there are about 140 entries, 454 pages of stories and remembrances and whatever of Wayne County. Fantastic book. When we were planning the gala, Patty Oldricker said we should have a display from each town. Well, I knew how that would work if we just said to the town historians and historical societies, come up with a display. They'd all be different. Let's see if we can come up with some uniformity. So Amber, again, stepped forward and said, I could do a display. We kind of based it on the reference a little bit, where we took the map that shows where each town is, added some pictures, when it was established, and so forth. And so she created these 3x3 posters that were on display at the gala and at Founders Day and at all the fair and other events throughout the year. We borrowed ideas freely from other bicentennial celebrations. Tompkins County had their bicentennial in 2017, and they did historic markers. So we did. We decided to do that too. So we went to the Board of Supervisors and said, would you please fund this? And so 16 historic markers that give what it was divided from, when, and what it was named after. We dedicated the first one for Wayne County on April 11th at the Founders Day ceremony, and we have since dedicated a number of others in other towns. The Finger Lakes Times said, we'd like to work with you to create a bicentennial supplement for our paper. So we pulled together a lot of our committee members and some others, and in about 2 months, we put this thing together. Also, fairly early on, Jim Darnell said, we've done these pictorial postal caches. Maybe we could do one for the bicentennial. And I said, oh, that'd be great. So he and the club created 3. So those are collector items. I think there are still a few of those available. We also, fairly early on, talked about geocaching, because that's a hobby of a lot of different people. Particularly some people who might not be into this history stuff. So let's put some geocaches at places that are historically significant and get people to go find them. And many years ago, I got interested in murals and started talking to Mark Cracker about murals. And when it came to the bicentennial, of course, murals came to mind. And we didn't want just any old mural. We wanted a big one. And we wanted it in a prominent location. We lucked out through some fluke to find Thatcher Chemical Company that was willing to let us put the mural on the front of their building. Now the process dragged along a little slower than we wished, but we're making progress. And we have just, they have just completed the center panel of the mural. And mural guys, stand up for a minute.
All right. So those are the bulk of the projects that we had going on. And then we move into the events and this year and what's happening. And the first thing that came up was April 11th with the Founders Day. And if I could put a picture with this, it would be Deb Hall. But I didn't want to, I'm going to move to that one. This one, I didn't want to put a face on there because I think this picture is so beautiful. And we all know Deb. Deb was the master coordinator of that bicentennial event downtown. And of course, Christine, I'll talk about in a minute, for here. But these two ladies, Jean and I would not be here anymore. They just made our lives so much easier and for everybody coming to those events. So at Founders Day, we were celebrating the establishment of Wayne County. We had people from all over the county come. We had dignitaries from our local supervisors and county officials to Pam Mulling and Brian Maxwell and Brian Stratton and a whole bunch of people from all over coming to enjoy the day. Congresswoman Penny. We had military, color guard, BMW, folks, American Legion, and all while things are getting situated in Lyons, kids across Wayne County were ringing bells and chiming in the new centennial that we entered. And of course, Sheriff Milton's wonderful car, wonderful. And we had all kinds of friendly faces and a beautiful sky, although that doesn't quite show it in that picture. And then, of course, we had the unveiling of the historic marker. After the unveiling of the historic marker, we came to this building and had a delicious luncheon, again by Avery and her crew. And all thanks to Avery's waving back there. Everybody give Avery a round of applause. As you can see from these pictures, more musical groups and a few ding-a-lings.
These two especially.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm referring to. And we had all kinds of people here, and we even had some family reunions. I think, Carol, that's a family reunion, right? 33 different generations. And
Right off the bat, people said, "Are we going to have a fancy gala?" Yup. And so we started looking around, and we discovered there was only one place large enough for our vision, and that was the ballroom at Cary Lake that will accommodate 500 people. And thanks to Patty and her committee, Queen Patty, by the way, we were able to pull off an elegant event on May 13th of 2023. Now, I need to stop for just a second. You notice this sign here, that sign over there. When you went to the Bicentennial Gala and bought a ticket for $50, that was about half of what it cost us. These folks picked up the rest. And by the way, those folks also paid for your lunch today.
Thank you.
Thank you for our Bicentennial sponsors for making it possible for us to have these wonderful celebrations.
as well as some of the projects and.
Yeah, and projects as well.
And other events.
Steve Peel, along with Dave Williamson, agreed to put together a car and boat show. And it wasn't just any car show. Steve came up with a car from each decade, starting with 1903, right through 2023. So that was good.
The Wayne County Bicentennial Heritage Music Series is just about over. It has been phenomenal. It has been one of the best things musically to happen in Wayne County in a long time. I used to be involved with the Wayne County Council of the Arts and used to have programs around the county. This far surpasses that. We were fortunate to have a grant from the Bimler Foundation be able to pull this off, but it was also the sponsorship money that helped with it. This guy, even though in his Facebook post he was somewhere else, he was working on this musical heritage series the full time. He was wherever he was that wasn't in New York State. And so we really owe him a huge applause for this.
This kind of got started because each year I go to Genesee Country Village and attend something called the Fiddler's Fair, and I met Professor Jim Kimball, and he is absolutely amazing. He performs old-time music, but he gives you the context. He tells you the story that goes with it. And so that was my vision, to have musical programs that were a concert with a history lesson. And every one of them so far has been that. And we have one more to go yet. So here are the ones we've had so far, for some of them. When we did the music program, one of the music programs we wanted to have was the Excelsior Cornet Band, which is an authentic Civil War era style band in period costume, playing period instruments. And we wanted the Civil War thing to be more than just that music. So we also invited Don Dwyer to come and do his Civil War program. And 3 or 4 speakers to come along and give a little historical tribute to the Civil War. One of our sponsors is the Isaac Bewley Foundation, or whatever he's called. George McGraw supported this, and his interest is in the 111th, which was raised mostly from Wayne County and Cayuga County people to fight the Civil War. So we kind of put all that together as part of our Music Heritage Series. And our final performance is next Sunday, 6:30, here in Lyons at the Ullman Theater. I think we're going to fill the place because Todd Hoban is a Wayne County fixture. Back in the 70s, he played around Wayne County a lot. And he has agreed to come and do the history of rock and roll.
Jeff, is that extra familiar to you?
Like I said about the historic markers, we borrow ideas from other people. Macomb County, Michigan in 2017, I think, did a 200-mile torch relay where runners ran through every town in Macomb County for a distance of 200 miles, and they had like escort vehicles with them. So, boy, that was such a great idea. However, those people started their 200 miles and ran 24 hours a day until they got done. We ain't doing it that way, folks. Let's break it up into 5 days, 40 miles each, roughly, so that people are running in the daylight and people can see them. We want this to be a big publicity stunt, and it was. Jeff and his team pulled off a fantastic torch relay event. Bill Hutton made the torch, which is over there. However, he couldn't figure out how to make it light. Lightweight. So we used different torches for the run. This is our ceremonial torch. Fantastic collection for our collection here now. So we went through, I could say, 200 miles. And we were supposed to do it on Tuesday night, but the forecast was for thunder showers and lightning that night. So we pushed it back to Thursday night. Okay. Good idea, yeah. And it almost worked. until I didn't. The kids came and did their run around the track, as you can see here. But, okay, you're ahead of me. But a few of us adults decided to do our mile because I don't run. So I'm going to walk my mile. So after the kids got done, a few of us walked our mile at the Sodas High School track. Lap 4, the skies opened. I became a drowned rat. But we had a pretty rainbow. For the past 2 years, we have been at the Wayne County Fair promoting the Bicentennial. And this is our display at Flora Hall this year. And then on the last day of the fair was one of our signature events, the family fun. We had a lot of people come in to do displays and music and speakers from the past, reenactors of all sorts of people. Lots of great stuff happened that day. That little kid in the green shirt was one of my grandkids. When we decided to start raising money, well, one of the first projects I decided was the calendar. We're going to print the calendar and sell them. Wait a minute. We don't have any money to print the calendar. Oops. Quick campaign. If you donate $200, you're a member of the 200 Club. Thank you, 200 Club members. You provided the seed money for us to start this project. And then, as I said earlier, we had a sponsorship program. Patty also took that one on. Patty managed to raise $140,000. On top of that, we also got probably $15,000 or $20,000 in grants to help fund the Bicentennial, plus whatever we took in from sales of our books and other merchandise. So we were able to do all these things that we've been doing, talking about here. And again, here's those sponsors that we owe a huge gratitude to for making it possible to celebrate this Bicentennial program all year long.
And then we go back to our special recognition for some people who we could not have functioned without. And Deb, you're at the top of the list because holy cow, your organization, your vision, the way you see things happening, you just brought such grounding to the two of us. If you think he's left brain, he really is right brain. You know.
Between the two of you, you got one.
Yeah. Thanks. Thank you so much for all you've done.
And, you know, Christine also, number one, she provided a meeting space for us all the time, reserved the rooms for us, helped coordinate a lot of things, especially the big events that we did. She helped order all the books and posters and rack cards. Without her assistance there, we'd still be looking for somebody.
I think there was a lot of stuff that Kristen Serena stepped in on. She said, you do this. I don't have time. You do this. Miss Devlin, would you please stand up? You come to every meeting and you keep track of what is going on around the table. I don't know how you do it. You take wonderful notes, you keep us in track, and thank you so much for all your efforts with That's a lot. Our money woman, our ideal woman, our keeping us straight when we aren't doing things right woman. Thank you. Thank you for being part of this craziness, and we really appreciate it.
And then there are some family members of ours who have been putting up with us not being home doing what we're supposed to do at home for the past 5 years.
I'm sorry.
My wife, Liz, David, Scott, and their daughter, Lizzie, has been a tremendous consultant on so many things and helping us with layout and fixing technical problems and whatever.
We both are kind of technologically off,
Cameron?
and she'll get on the phone with Jean and get them straightened out. She gets me straightened out all the time. But her love of doing graphics has come through with these sponsorship signs and some of the other things that she's done. So we really appreciate all three of you so very much. Thank you to all our photographers, Kyle and Matthew, and the other photographers who are here. Bob, you're included in on that. You know, we couldn't have done this without the help of so many photographers. Okay, moving along. Okay, so I got involved in this crazy thing by Jean's invitation to come join the Bicentennial Committee, and that was good, because I wanted to represent the east side of the county. And then he asked me if I would fill in after Larry Ann passed away, and I'd already been, oh, sure. And then, you know, you learn a lot from Jean, and there has to be a little history to everything. When we did these dog and pony shows, we would go through the bicentennial material of what was happening and whatnot. And then the last component, the last half of the dog and pony show would be in history. We'd show slides or Facebook posts from around the county representing something from each town. Well, we're going to end with a little history. In 1879, Baron G. Yeomans of Walworth imported 32 Holstein cattle consisting of 2 bulls and 30 females. Now, Jean, I did take this from the Wayne Historian's database, so if there's anything wrong with it, it's on me. Mostly heifers from Holland. In 1885, Yeomans became the first president of the Holstein Friesian Association. Holstein cattle are renowned for their milk and butter production, and they became the predominant breed in this area. The Walworth Historical Society owns the 2 historically significant paintings created by Clara Billings Yeomans. Now, how is she related to Clara?
Daughter-in-law.
Okay. These 2 paintings served as inspiration for this mural. The single cow on the right side of the mural is Aggie. Am I saying that right? Aggie. As a 2-year-old, she made an unofficial record of 17,746 pounds and 2 ounces, okay, of milk in a year, an unheard of performance by a 2-year-old heifer at the time. Later, she made a record of 20,763 pounds and 3 ounces of milk in a year. That seems like a whole lot of milk to me. The mural is by Corky Goss, a Casanova College art professor who was assisted by his son Graham. And true to the mural mania thought of preserving history through community art, this is Walworth's, is this the Walworth's first mural that was done? Walworth got a start. So I'm looking at that mural, and I'm looking at Jean, and I'm looking at that mural, and I'm looking at Jean. See it? There's a resemblance. I think Jean's a wannabe. What?
He was a big model for that girl.
I wondered about that. I think he's also maybe a wannabe Holstein cattle farmer. Uh, they, they had a dairy, the Walworth Historical Society had a dairy open house at which they had wonderful displays of milk bottles. Jean and Liz demonstrated how to make butter. There was an ice cream maker there and all different kinds of wonderful things going on, dairy related. And then I saw these holy cow open house things, and I thought, oh, how do you like that? Okay, that's interesting. One day I was driving by Jean's house. I was taking a shortcut home from Penfield, and I thought, oh, I'll try going this way. And then I saw his house, and it looks like Jean's trying to start a Holstein ranch. His yard had these Holsteins. He's got a beautiful pasture in front of his house. He could have a Holstein ranch there. And there were these Holsteins going up the driveway, and then they're sitting over by the garage. And I thought, oh my, that's peculiar. So Jean, I just got to say that in 5 years that we've been working on this bicentennial, I truly appreciate your mentorship, your friendship, and your silliness sometimes. But I don't think anything is as silly as thinking of you as a Holstein farmer, historically in Walworth. So this is a little token of my appreciation to you. It is for Liz. There is something in there for you, though. There's a book. It used to go with you on all your trips with your other boys that sit in the front. It's a re-edition of the 1897 book, Holstein Friesian Cattle by Houghton. And there's, on page 316, there's a picture of Yeoman. And then there's stuff throughout about him. So thank you for your inspiration and all your efforts for the bicentennial. And I just am truly in debt to you for all you've taught me. Thank you.
It ain't over yet. As we said, next week we of course have the final heritage precinct thing. But the plan is that we are going to finish the mural next spring or summer. We'll have a big celebration when that is all complete. As you can see, the center panel is virtually complete. Panel 1 is well along. And, over the winter months, we'll get the design done for the other panels, and we'll get those painted as soon as the weather makes it possible for the artists to work on. So the other thing that is happening is because we're historians, we feel a need to document things. We just put on a huge celebration with multiple components. So even way back at the beginning, I felt that we should have something as a souvenir of what happened this year. So we will be putting together, I don't know if there will be a picture book or exactly what. It will include some video and some photographs and a little bit of history of the bicentennial. And the goal is to have it done by spring. And the Historical Society will be selling them. But as our gift to our volunteers, there's a certificate there for those of you who volunteered all along this year to get a free copy of that. Also, what else you got there?
I've got some things. As a token of our appreciation for all the volunteers and everybody in this room who came, there's some seed packets for you to take with you. One is, no, I don't remember, they're cutting flowers and garden flowers, cosmos and things like that. So everybody please take those. And then next April 8th, 2024.
What's happening, Christine?
Yeah, Christine, come on up here. You talk up. Christine has brought these wonderful magnets for you. She's going to talk about it.
Hi, everybody. One thing that I learned by working so closely with Gene and Rosa was all the retired teachers out there. So I have a lot that I'm going to call on for help down the road, but the pen is for you guys. So when you're doing all the edits on our calendars, and if you want to edit a visitor's guide, here's a pen for you to use.
4 colors.
Exactly, red and green. So the poster. So Wayne County was working with the gentleman that did all the eclipse posters for 2017 and the ones for 2024. He is an amazing guy, and he wanted the Wayne County poster to have a little bit of an edge from like the vegetable cans that used to come out years ago, or the boxes. So I worked with Steve a little bit and Karen a little bit to give me some examples, and his idea was the apple. So that's where the poster came from, and it's been on display in the greater Rochester area for New York, for all the posters, and there's a chance it'll be in the Smithsonian also, so we're looking forward to that.